Hello and welcome. In this video, we will be studying about the cell boundary and transportation. So in this case, we are talking about transportation of water and other solutes through the cells. So first of all, we'll talk about the plasma membrane. So this is a universal feature of all the cells. They have this boundary that defines the cell's individuality. So this is called the plasma membrane. It is there in the animal cells as well, and it is there in the plant cells as well. It is this darker green feature right out over here inside this cell wall. Okay, so this is the plasma membrane. It is basically, so this is a zoomed in image of the plasma membrane with the fluid mosaic model, which is a very important diagram. Okay, the cell membrane is a thin boundary. So the cell membrane, the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, it's the same thing. It's a very thin boundary of 7 to 10 nanometer thickness, made of a lipid bilayer. So these two things, these over here, this is the lipid bilayer. So there is one on the top and one on the outer side and one on the inner side. Okay, with embedded proteins. So there is glycoprotein over here, there is integral protein over here, and there is peripheral protein over here. So there are embedded proteins in the layers of these lipid bilayer. Okay, molecules move sideways, flip and rotate, making it fluid. Proteins arranged like tiles in a mosaic give it its name. So these little tiles, they give its name, the fluid mosaic model, and the particles on this move sideways and flip. Okay, now this lipid bilayer, this yellow head of it, this is a hydrophilic layer. Okay, and the tail is a hydrophobic part, and this acts as a semi-permeable membrane, which means it allows certain things to pass through, which is like waters. It allows water to pass through, and also some solutes of a very small size. It will allow them to pass through and into the cell. So these are the features of a plasma membrane. The plasma membrane, it is used as a protection. It surrounds the innards of the cell, and it protects the inner parts from the external environment. Other feature it has is gatekeeping, which is also known as selective permeability, or selectively permeable in this case. So the gatekeeping feature, so it only allows specific substances like oxygen and water to pass while blocking the other large solutes. So it only allows small solutes, small minerals, oxygen and water to pass through the membrane and enter the cell, which acts as a nutrition for the cell. And the other feature it serves is communication. So the plasma membrane of a cell acts as a mode of communication. So it enables the cells to interact and respond to signals from neighboring cells. So a cell next to a cell will interact with each other through the plasma membrane. So next up, we will be watching this video. So over here, there are some glasses that are filled with colored liquid and some that are empty, and we have placed napkins in each of those. And now observe what happens after a while as the water starts traveling up the napkin. As you can see, the glasses have started filling up. And eventually it gets to a point where all of the glasses are similarly filled up. So the water level in each of these glasses will be same. This is due to a property known as diffusion, which is a passive form of transportation. Okay, so diffusion is a net movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So when these glasses were full and the other next glass was empty, there was a higher concentration of liquid particles on this glass, while there was a lower concentration in this one. And because of this, the water started flowing across the napkin to this side. Eventually, the water level became the same in each of these glasses, and because of that, the water stopped flowing anymore. So this is the process continues until an equilibrium is reached. Examples include spreading of fragrance in the air and dye in water. So the equilibrium was reached when all of the water levels were equal. And this process is passive, therefore it requires no energy to occur. So there is no energy requirement for this process to occur. Next we'll learn about osmosis. So this has its benefits in for example, water purification. You know there are ROs, right? So those RO water purifiers, they function on the reverse process. It's called reverse osmosis. The RO is for reverse osmosis. So it's the reverse of this process. So osmosis is a specific type of diffusion, the movement of water molecules across a selectively permeable membrane. So what we do over here is we have a container, we add a selectively permeable membrane in the middle, and on one side we add a higher concentration of solute, on the other side there is a lower concentration of the solute. Now because of this side has a lower concentration of water, while this side has a higher concentration of water, and because of this the water will start going across the membrane. This is a selectively permeable membrane that only allows for the water to pass through and nothing else, and it goes into this side with a higher concentration of solute. The solute could be salt, it could be sugar, it could be anything, but it does not flow backwards due to this selectively permeable membrane. Therefore the water will keep flowing, so the water level on this side of the selectively permeable membrane will go down and the water level on this side will go up until the equilibrium is reached. So until the concentration of water is same on the both sides. So water moves from a dilute solution to a concentrate solution until concentrations are equal on both sides. So it will keep moving until the concentration is equal on the both sides. Next we will learn about hypotonic environment of a cell. So concentration of water outside the cell is higher than the concentration inside. So what happens in this case? So say we have a container with a cell inside it. So we'll draw a container and a bunch of water, and we'll draw a cell inside it. Let's say a red blood cell inside this. Okay. So in this case, we in the hypotonic situation, the concentration of water outside is considered to be higher than the concentration of water inside the cell. Now because of this, what will happen is the water from outside, this water will start to enter the cell. Okay, so the cell will gain a lot of water. So the effect on cell is that water rushes into the cell gains water and swells up significantly. So the cell will bloat up. Similarly, if we look at isotonic environment. So in isotonic environment, the concentration of water is equal both inside the cell and outside the cell. So we have a container again. Container of water with the cell inside it again. Let's say red blood cell. So in this case, the concentration is equal in both the cell and in the container. So there is no net movement of water. Since it's equal, there is no difference in concentration. The water will not flow either from the cell or into the cell. So the shape and the size of the cell is maintained. There is no difference in the cell. Next up, we have hypertonic environment. In hypertonic environment, the concentration of water inside the cell is higher than the concentration of water outside the cell. So in this case, we have a container. There is water inside it. and then there is a cell, and the concentration of water inside the cell is higher than the concentration outside. In this case, the water from within the cell will start to flow outwards and the cell will shrink. So this is the movement of water and movement of minerals from within the cell and inside the cell. So this is it for this lesson. In this we have learned the cell boundary, which is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, and how it acts. We have also seen a diagram of it, and we have also learned about the transportation of water and minerals from the cell.